Hey, Dimitri.
Welcome everyone to Nothing Media. We have Much Ado About Nothing with Paul Hedderman. Thank you, Paul. And we have host David. Thank you, David. Take it away.
Thanks very much, Emerson. And it's really good to be here. Welcome, everyone, to Much Ado About Nothing with Paul, as was said. And just to let you know that if you've never been here before and you've never watched Paul's website is at zenbitchslap.com, where you can find all these fantastic, crazy good books and videos and documents and T-shirts, which I'm told are really exciting, even though I've never seen one or been given one for free or had to pay for it, which is a shame. So, Paul, how are you? It's good to see you again today.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, good. And we're going to start off with a bit of a contentious reading. I've found something for Paul to read to Paul for him to make mockery of, and it's called "Know Yourself: An Explanation of the Oneness of Being" by an ancient Sufi writer called Balyani, and it's been translated from the Arabic by Cecilia Twinch. And this is a rather nice little excerpt that I'm going to read to you. So, Paul, here we go. When you know yourself, your egoism disappears and you know that you are no other than God. If you had an independent existence, you would have no need of passing away or of self-knowledge. You would therefore be a Lord apart from him, but there is no Lord apart from God who is blessed and exalted. The benefit of the knowledge of the self is to know for certain that you are neither existent nor non-existent, that you are not, never have been, and never will be. In this way, the meaning of "there is no God but God" becomes clear. There is no divinity other than him. Being belongs to none but him. There is no other except him. There is God but he. There is no God but he. If someone says you make his lordship superfluous, the reply is, I do not make his lordship superfluous, because he has not stopped being both ruler and ruled. There you go.
Well, welcome everybody or anybody who's here. All right. Uh, I have nothing. I'm neutral about the book and the writer. I have no idea of it. I just want to use the title to sort
Mm,
of point something out, which is really the belly of. Oh, so it's know yourself. Yeah, I thought it
yes.
was know yourself. All right, so
Mm,
know yourself. If the self is all right, so the statement know yourself, when heard by the formatted sense of being Paul, there's a sense of someone before the know yourself. So there's something there that's going to know yourself. Yes. In other words, when
yes.
you read know thyself, there's some feeling that there's something before that that's now going to know something it may be not knowing, and it's called self or thyself. Yes? A lot of people don't see that as self. The self we're speaking of, which is this feeling of being the doer, the thinker, the seer, the hearer, the feeler, and it's pictured as a long-lasting, independent, separate thing. Yes? So there's that subjective self now is going to know thyself or know the self. Yes? That's the bondage of self. The bondage of self, just like handcuffs, there's usually two cuffs in a handcuff. Yeah? There's one thing put on the hand, and then it's either on the other hand or on some object. So you get handcuffed to something. Yes? So with this idea of selfing, it's a two-pronged lock in a way. So there's, all right, know yourself as other, let's say, or as not you. So there's the objectified self. And then there's the feeling of self that has the sense of ownership and being the one that's going to know the other aspect of self. Yeah? That's the bondage of self. Sooner or later, most people's lives can be brought to seeing the first idea of self. Yeah? Let's call it that bondage. But they don't see the feeling of being the subjectiveness before the statement, know thyself, which maybe the way it's heard to us is, oh shit, I'm not knowing thyself, you know? So once again, what that imaginary you is given like a secure foundation, yes? And so now the knowing yourself has been claimed to imply that one that's in a state of not knowing yourself, yes? So this to me is how it works. Yeah. We have a statement in recovery, how it works. Well, in a way, how duality works is a sense of subject-objectness, yes? So there's seeing, which is an activity, and then there's a narration or an interpretation of seeing, which is a subjective objectification of it, yes? So now the seeing is used to imply there must be someone or something that's doing the seeing, and then all the objects and all the thoughts that are seen, yeah? This is subject-objectness. This is what non-duality negates. That's all. Non-duality is negating duality. Yeah? And it's negating, not denying, because denial doesn't work, because there's a you that's trying to deny that it's a you. Negating is seeing what you're not from what you are. Yeah? So finally, there's an emphasis of what you are, seeing what you're not, instead of a huge emphasis on what you're not, looking for what you are. Yeah? Just a little bit of a switch. But sometimes all it takes is one little free sample. Yeah? Sometimes it may need like 50 free samples. But there's going to be a point where there's going to be a shift of attention and interest, and that which you used to struggle to try to maintain will be lived from. Yes? You'll have the ability to enjoy peace of mind, not based on 40 requirements that you need to fulfill to be able to enjoy peace of mind. You will be readily available to peace of mind. Yes? Yeah. So I don't care about books or stuff. I mean, I like to... A book brings out the sense of being the reader of the book. That I'm interested in. Yeah? So who the hell feels like they're reading the book? Yeah? And then see if that's true or not. Yeah? Because the bondage of self is an activity, and it's a two-pronged activity. You get the great luxury finally to see an objectification of self, and that seeing is claimed as the subjectification of self. Yeah? So now you're the one who knows thyself. Yes? The way I read it the second time was knowing yourself if you look at self as something other than you. Yeah? Yes? So I wouldn't say know yourself. There'd be a knowing of self. Yeah? Knowing of self as not you. Yeah? That's the understanding of non-duality. It allows you, instead of watching everything from that idea of being Paul and constantly everything being used to reinforce that idea, you see it from a position of neutrality. Yeah? So you see the activity that implies what you're not. Yeah? From obviously what you are. Yeah? Yeah. So being thyself, or being, I like that title a lot better than knowing, because knowing implies something that's going to know. Yeah? Yeah, and I can know a lot of stuff, but I can't know what I am. I'd have to be someone else to do that. Yeah? Which goes against the basic assumption of the invitation of non-duality, basically. The invitation of non-duality is rooted in the statement of Ramana Maharshi, being ourselves reality. And then from there, everything gets questioned. Yes? So instead of looking for the truth, something else gets questioned. Yes? So your whole direction goes differently if it's based on being ourselves reality. Yeah? Then you see the greatest mystery is being ourselves reality, wanting to attain reality. Yeah? That's the greatest mystery. The greatest mystery isn't Paul, wanting to attain reality. That makes a lot of sense to Paul and other Pauls and Jims and Bills and Marys and Sues. Yes, it makes a huge amount of sense because we believe reality would bring shit that we don't seem to have now. Maybe an ability to override stuff and outshine circumstances and situations. So based on our present assumption of the conditions we're in, reality for some can be very attractive, but we are that which we're looking for. Yeah? Being ourselves reality, it makes no sense to want to attain reality. Yeah?
Yes.
Being what we are, it makes no sense to want to know what you are. It doesn't. Being what you are just takes out the whole floor, FLOOR, of wanting to become what you are. Yeah? All that just gets, the rug gets pulled out of all that. Yeah? And then you're left with what you just completely assume are your own devices, and you realize they're not your devices. Yeah. And then what you would think would be, oh, Jesus Christ, that would be the worst possible realization, which is incredible futility, the impossibility of you getting it, the impossibility of you having it, but it's predicated not that you're a failure, because you're it. That's the great news. Yeah. And that's why you're not getting it, because you are it. Yeah? If you take it from what you're not, it's a freaking drag that you're not getting it. Yeah? And then you're looking around assuming, how did they get it? I've done more shit than they have. I've been with more teachers. I saw Papa G live or something. And you feel like you have the requirements I should have gotten it. But the point is, you don't get it because you are it. Yeah? It's not like a race and someone's running ahead of you, or you're thinking you're better than the ones that are behind you. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's just the basic fact, and really the only fact, that you are what you're looking for. Yeah? That's the topic. If you're not into that, you're at the wrong store in a way. Yeah? If you feel like you're something that's going to become incredibly better by knowing itself, fucking far out. I would be gobbling up these things, yeah? But the same, let's say, book or hearing about a retreat or something that would trigger a huge excitement about getting better just doesn't do it anymore. You just realize the futility of it, yeah? And that actually the practices themselves that you're engaged with are reinforcing that which you'd like to get out of. Yeah? Did you know that before? I didn't. When I was arduously looking for what I already am, I had no idea that all of my behaviors towards that end were reinforcing that which I wanted to escape from. Yeah. That was a rude awakening. But what comes after is like being chilled out. Yes. There's enough shit we have to get here. You got to get some food. You got to get some clothes. I got to get some screws to fix that table. Yeah. There's tons of shit. But at least this condition is just now, it's as clear as day. You're seeing blue as blue and red as red. Yeah. And maybe you'll recognize once this gets established, your interest and attention are going to shift. They're going to go different ways. They're not yours anyway, but they're going to move. Yeah. And you're going to see things anew. And things that you really, an identity has grown in that interest is going to move. Yeah. And you're going to be left with the emperor having no clothes. Yeah. Thinking, oh, this was the calling of my life. It will go like that. Seriously, he'll come to like a sudden halt, and there won't be any movement in that direction again. And then you see the mental state's investment in being somebody. It loves to become something. It doesn't. It finds interest in being something or being nothing. It loves. If you describe being nothing as a goal, it may be totally into it. Yeah, it will spend every day trying to become that. But if it hears the message, you're already that, it loses complete interest. Because there's nothing for it to work with there. Yeah. You've taken time out of the equation, which is necessary for the bondage of self. There needs to be time. You have to have time to unbecome what you think you don't want to be and to become what you think you want to be. Yeah? All that gets taken, it's like another rug taken out from underneath you. Yeah? That's why I feel Jesus said it's like a thief in the night. You already that. That's what's so fucking surprising. It's not like you came into the light, you are the light. Look at your head, tell me.
Look at
It's
my head.
usually a move of trying to become what it thinks it isn't and trying to unbecome what it believes it is. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And so if it gets a conceptual idea, reality is going to bring me a lot of advantages I don't seem to have now. I'm going to go attain reality. If knowing God is being God, yeah, or being God is knowing God, there's no time at all there. So let's say you spend 30 years trying to be a knower of God, and finally there's success, there's a dropping of interest in that knower, and then you're being God, you'll realize the whole division of attention and interest. It was on the imaginary knower of God for 30 freaking years. There was no interest in the being of God. Yeah? Yeah. Because the being of God is a fact now. And it doesn't seem to have much interest, does it?
No.
Get introduced to it, the floor collapses, and they're not going to have a sale and sell those spiritual books. They still got them in the bookshelf. They got fucking 90 books of how to get into the moment, whatever, all this and all that. Because this mental state loves it. It loves that stuff. It loves the act of becoming because it can seemingly be what it ain't all that time in the act of becoming. Yes. You see that ambiguous you that's implied before knowing thyself may get into 40 years of pursuing knowing thyself. Yeah. Claiming every step of the way to get a huge reflection of this imaginary Dave or imaginary Paul. This is what Raman, I feel, said, which is your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non existent thing. How can they destroy it? Yes? We have it in recovery. Self knowledge avails us nothing, but knowledge of self, in my view, could be very valuable. But self knowledge avails us nothing. Why? Well, that imaginary point is being focused by the claiming of the knowledge. So now self gets projected by the claiming of the knowledge. Therefore, that self knowledge avails us nothing. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay. We're good. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. Thanks very much for that. And just to say, everyone, you're on Nothing FM, and it's with Paul Hedderman and Much Ado About Nothing. If you've got any questions, put them in. We're watching on YouTube. Put them in the chat on YouTube, and we'll ask them here, as well as put them in chat here on Zoom. And just to remind you that Paul has a few meetings each week on Zoom on his zenbitchslap.com. He has on a Wednesday evening in California, and also on a Saturday afternoon, and you can watch it all around the world, as well as some 12-step recovery stuff, which is on today and Thursday. But all those details are at his Facebook, at his website. So first question here, speaking of Ramana, James, who's on YouTube, says, I was watching an interview about quotes, and it implies that Nisargadatta and Ramana prescribes practice like surrender or abiding in awareness. Can you talk about this, please?
I think they did. I don't know.
Maybe.
But,
Well, what about the idea? What about the idea of prescribing just without Ramana and Nisargadatta? What about practice like surrender or abiding in awareness? Can you talk about that?
I don't think surrender is a practice. I think surrender is a state. If you got the sample of it, you can entertain it. If you don't, the actions may lead you to having the sample of what surrender is like. But if you've been given that gift of surrender, now you can entertain it. Yeah. So I feel that is that's probably the most efficient way in the action figure realm, is surrender, to recognize that you're not managerial quality, to recognize that what you're relying on as this event is a failed system. Yeah. So that to me is the abidance in something. If it becomes a practice, there's a feeling of it's you that's abiding in something. The abiding is there isn't any you. Yes? That's why it's available to be. That's why there's an abiding. The you can't abide. It's too contrary. It too flips and flops. Yeah. The abiding is a loss of interest in the idea of selfing. And then there's an abiding in that which is ever present. Yes? There's no one abiding in it. The ever presentness is ever present. Yeah? It exudes some juice, so to speak. That's my feeling. So, if you came to this seat assignment through miscalculations and other reasons, you're just a cod salesman. Yeah, you have a certain part of the fish and you present that. I don't compare it to other presenters of the fish. Yeah. This is where whatever is talking through me took me, and it stopped at this point because it felt if this doesn't get emphasized, this mental activity of claiming to be the one, you're going to be looking from it. Yeah. And when you're looking from it, you'll fall under the category of the greatest mystery, reality wanting to attain reality. Yeah? You're looking from this little mental activity, you're one of the clouds in the greatest mystery of reality wanting to attain reality. It's just that simple. Yeah? These are shoes that you try on. They're not shoes. This isn't like you're looking at the shoe store from the outside window. You go in and you try the shoes on. Yeah? Yes? One of the shoes is there a presupposing of a non-existent thing being existing? Yeah? And then that non-existent thing, assuming to be the existence, wants to get salvation for itself. If that's the case, the spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? That's not something you chant. That's something you try on. See if it fits. See if it captures a lot of the behavior that you called yours. in a topic that you call spiritual. See, that's the point, yeah? The point is, hey, let's have an 8-hour discussion of whatever can be perceived, can't be perceiving. No, that's a pair of shoes. You put them on, yeah? Huang Po's trying to save us a lot of time, and he's basically saying, right now, whatever can be perceived, which is I'm perceiving what's called David, yes? You're perceiving what's called Paul, then that thing that's called Paul can't be that which is perceiving, all right? Now apply that to the narration that's being played in one's head all day. That narration is based on a completely different assumption. It's based on that which can be perceived is what's perceiving. Yes? They're completely diametrically opposed. There's no alignment with that. Yeah? How are you going to bring those two views together? They're not. One's a negation of the other. It's not a kumbaya. Non-duality isn't a kumbaya with everything else. It's a negation of everything else. Yes? It's like, I'm doing a little of this and a little of No, it isn't. Non-duality is a negation of things. Yes? It's a negation of a mental format that we seem to live under. It's negating it. It's negating that there's a knower that's going to know itself. It's negating that. Yeah? That's why, really, the best books of non-duality would have no fucking title, really. But of course, here we are. So I am that, all right? That's pretty good. For 3 words, that's a good title. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm.
But so these statements by whoever, are meant to be put on, Like, I tell you, I had a momentary process that actually spanned 40 years. It happened in a flash. I was involved in recovery. I had a position of sharing about a process that's important in the program of recovery called the inventory process, which is step 4 in a 12-step program. And there was a statement that I had read many times. Well, I read it again one day, and it said, being convinced, which is a present tense state, yes, being convinced. It says, finally, I was convinced. No, it's being convinced. There's no even title of a noun there. Yeah, there's not you, it's just being convinced, self. And the way we use self in recovery is this feeling of being the doer, the thinker, the claiming of a lot of shit that we have nothing really to do with, yes? So that idea of self, pictured as a body, being convinced that self manifested in various ways, yeah? So something that's not a body manifesting in various ways, obviously through a body, yeah, is what has defeated us, okay? Finally, if we're convinced of that, we're going to look at self's manifestations in our lives. Okay, so I saw self as foreign. Yeah, maybe I had thought of that it was foreign. Maybe I understood that it was foreign, but I saw it as foreign. Yes, no need for an understanding, no need for studying. Just whammo, I'm not that. Yeah, as soon as that was noticed, and it was very sudden, I'm not that. A possibility became available, like out of the blue. I can be free from it. Yes? So it was very quick. I saw something that I was assuming was me, was my representative, was whatever, yes? The Alpha and the Omega that talks about itself incessantly all day. This, yeah. I see it as other. The next possibility shows up. I can be free from it. Wow. Then there's a whole spanning over my life since I was 6 onward, and it showed me in living color I had been trying to be free as it most of my life, since 6 years old. I've been trying to get out of that fucking thing or get into something else as that fucking thing. Yeah, completely. I didn't go to classroom. It was just sudden, whoop, saw the whole fucking thing. There I was in about a second, 2 seconds, who knows? Yeah? But since that point, some of those things that were presented haven't changed. Yeah? They haven't been reviewed. They're not debated every 3 months. They don't come up to in front of a committee to get approved. Just a feeling in the gut. That's that. Yes? Now, did the action figure live up to it? No. Because it's very clear it's impossible for the action figure to live up to it. It doesn't have the comprehension. It doesn't. It doesn't have the ability. It's not personal. It's just a failed system in that level. Yeah. It has its uses, incredibly important on a certain time spatial level, yet it has its limitations. So what can a failed system show you? It's failed. Yes. And the only difference between how the system was held was an absence of a word called my in the English language. My thoughts, I beg to differ. My feelings, my actions, in Rome, I'll be fucking, convicted as a Roman, but I'm not of Rome. I'm in Rome, but I'm not of Rome. You're never going to pin that on me. Yeah. So I'll be accountable for whatever shit happens through this. I didn't take the shit. Yes, yes. Just be very clear. So then the my, and then I realized the importance of that damn word by its being weakened. Yes? Da 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 da. Yeah? And then there was so much more available. The less of my, the more of something, yeah, in my experience. Yes? And this wasn't about vanquishing a system or defeating a system. It was just a recognition you're not of the system, yeah? And then a nice, healthy bit of attention and interest, yeah, was freed from that preoccupation, yeah, and became an enriching quality of my life, not an enslaving quality of my life. Pretty damn good, yeah, my feeling. So I didn't set out to be in the seat assignment. I didn't. I just had the ability to articulate what people can understand or whatever, see patterns. I saw that had value in recovery, and and there was a surrender in a way. Yeah. Hey, I'm happy to be used. I'm not doing much on my own anyway, so fuck it. Let this higher power use me and see what happens. Yeah. And here, this is what's happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am in this, there's no I that's in the state of being convinced. There's being convinced. Yeah. I saw enough. I mean, it hit a point where if I kept trying to learn more, it would be like a disservice. Yeah. Learning has its value to a point. Understanding has its value to a point. Yeah. Then it may not be valuable if it lives past this expiration date. Yes. Yeah. So the knowing and the understanding was more about what I'm not. And you don't need to know a whole lot about what you're not. You need to know a very little, which is premised on you're not that. That's basically the fundamental knowledge of it. Yeah. And so you lose interest. Like if you were gonna set out and write a 20-volume book about you, if you found out it wasn't you, it wouldn't end up being a 20-volume book, would it? No, it would be an essay, and then you move on to write other things, the life of a hummingbird or something more. So that's what happened. So there's a certain point where knowledge isn't valuable. It isn't, and it's not a rote answer. You find out in your own little event. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. There's because it's like some people I know in recovery, they want to become masters of, let's say, managing fear, where I'm in the camp of I'd rather outgrow fear. I don't care. I don't want to be a master of fear. I just don't want to have any. I don't want that to, I don't want it to be a dominant influence in this life. I don't. So I can't pull that off. Yeah. But something has. So I hit a point where uh, you know, too much knowing of fear doesn't go anywhere to me. Yeah. It's just like the idea of taking 2-year course of losing interest in self. That could be construed as interest in self. Yeah. It's a dangerous little wire you're walking. I feel. So. And it's going to be in you. It's not going to be in Nisargadatta or Ramana's gut. It's going to be in your gut. You're going to find what works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I would love to be in Ramana's army would be the uniform, the diaper. That would be great. I mean, if we were all assigned a diaper and I lived in it every day, that would be awesome. But everyone goes,
Yeah.
as many.
Yeah. You've seen Kumbaya a few times. That'd be great. I'd pay money to see that. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, do you know see how people, because we are the stubborn number of the failed math, yeah? So it's you. And therefore, what we do is, all right, Zen didn't work, Kabbalah didn't work. I'm going to synthesize both of them. Zen Kabbalah may work. And then it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah.
Because the math is off because it's based on a primary number 1 when the true math is 0. Yeah. You can synthesize away and put all these things together, and it's just like what happens with people. They hear the message 28 different ways and they don't hear fucking anything. Yeah. There's nothing's able to land and unload. You just keep trying to get more, Yeah. Is there faith in the message or faith in you, really? If it's true that we are that, you need more of that? I don't know. I don't think so. For me, it's an invitation. I don't want to be like a collector of invitations. I don't. Yeah. It says that the importance of the invitation is go to the dinner. Yeah. That's where you're going to get fed. I've heard it by 50 different people, but you're starved. Yeah. Just fucking eat the meal. That's the invitation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So Cindy Lee on YouTube asks or says, "Thank you for doing this. It's my favorite on Nothing Media." Wow, thank you. Will you, Paul, be doing another online retreat? I can't travel, so it would be ideal.
Well, Cindy, we hope we can do that. Yeah. And I'll send you the check today. No. Try to do something, Cindy. I think there's a plan to do it.
Yeah.
If you just every once in a while go to Zen Bitch Slap, if it'll be up there as soon as we get an idea. Yeah. I enjoyed the last one, so we'll do it.
Yeah, it's usually up straight away. It's pretty good on that website. Everything's kept up to date, Cindy. So yeah, just keep checking in there. It'll be awesome. Meredith Lawson asks a very very easy one. Is there an absolute reality?
I don't know. Does it matter on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah.
Good question, though. Cheers, Meredith.
What would be
Eugene,
an absolute reality?
say that again. Sorry, Paul.
What would be a non-absolute reality?
Hmm.
Dreaming?
Well, I guess what I'm thinking that Meredith's asking is the whole matrix question, the old good old matrix question is, are we living in the reality what we perceive? Is there another reality beyond? I think that's what Meredith is asking.
Really, that kind of knowledge uh, maybe feeds the wrong mouth. Yeah, just
Okay.
sort of, yeah, my feeling anyway.
Okay. It's a dead end.
Well, I'm just saying it feeds the wrong mouth, let's say. Yeah, something gets curious and interested in that, but it doesn't really uh, bring about an ease and comfort. Yeah.
Sure. And that's and assuming that the whole point of it is to be happy and to find happiness in life, and that
Not
is just
happy.
going to be
I mean,
another seeking, a torture of seeking.
I like contentment is a nice word.
Hmm.
Content, or a sense of neutrality. Yeah,
Okay.
it allows you to. It's how you travel, not what you travel to, so to speak. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so I like the how you travel light, and
Mm.
then the emphasis on where I have to travel to gets lesser and lesser. Yeah, so you're
Yep.
okay being here, or you're okay going there. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah.
Mm. But I guess it all comes from that whole thing as part of that. Sorry, I'm just going to go, but it comes from that thing where everyone's seeking enlightenment, aren't they? So it's the whole seems to be and this is in my limited knowledge of the whole non-dual scene, is that everyone seems to be focused on the top of the mountain, the peak of the pinnacle is this so-called enlightenment thing, I guess, isn't it?
Well, that's purely conceptual.
Hmm.
If you're not there now, you won't be there later. If you're not here now, you're not going to be there later. So, yeah, we
Cool.
are what we're looking for right now. Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yep.
think you just let enlightenment take care of itself. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In its own
Yeah. I
time.
mean, you have to realize that interest in something is more interest in you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Really, like the real liberation has been the need, liberated from the need to be liberated to me.
Yes. Okay.
So I've lost interest in all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
enlightenment and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
well,
I think
yeah. And
how the mental state uses it uh, has a lot of value, recognizing that. So the word enlightenment, one of the definitions is the cessation of all suffering, but most people that are entertaining it are using it as a touchstone to suffer. The head is using it to promote more anxiety and agitation. Yeah,
mm, mm,
there you go.
mm,
It's a
mm,
pretty real
mm,
uh, example, don't you think?
mm. Yeah.
In
It's
these
an arduous
circles,
process to achieve.
most people in these circles of satsang and everything, in one level, would have been better off never hearing the word awakening or enlightenment because it's just been used to stir up
Yes.
more imaginary pots than ever. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Sells a lot of books though.
Well, great. Then
Yeah.
somebody gets able to live. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Meredith. That was a great question. So Eugene, YouTube as well, says, "Hey Paul, who is that I that you realize who you saw can be free from that?"
There wasn't a who. There was just a possibility of being free. That's all. There wasn't a who that possibility was being had by. There was just a possibility of being free.
Okay.
See, this whole idea of a verb, always there must be a noun in the vicinity of every verb. I think that's the failed logic, mental logic of duality. Yeah. So can't there be a, like supposedly Lord Buddha said, events happen, deeds are done, yet there's no individual doer thereof. Yeah. So he's basically saying, yes, in what's appearing, deeds are appearing to happen. Deeds are appearing to, and events are appearing to happen. Deeds are appearing to be done, but there's no individual doer thereof. There you go. That's pretty concise.
Mm.
So the negation isn't about the deeds or the events, it's about the one. Yes? He's not
Mm-hmm.
negating that there's no deeds and there's no events. He's saying deeds happen, events happen, deeds are done, yet there's no individual doer thereof. That's the beautiful negation of non duality, right there. There's no negating the events or the deeds, there's the negating of the seeming one who did them or attended them. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole thrust of non duality in a way. See, people believe that if there's thoughts, there must be a thinker. That's not true. Yeah? There's just thoughts. But there's a noticing of thoughts. Yeah, but there's no one that's noticing it. Yeah?
Mm.
See? So there's thoughts and there's a noticing. The noticing of the thought implies there's a one. That is a one. There's a one that's noticing the thoughts. No, there isn't a one that's noticing the thoughts. There's noticing of thoughts. That's part of the deed that's being done. Yeah? We don't see the subjective noun is part of the activity of the deed. We believe it's separate from the deed and it's the one doing the deed. No. The deed being interpreted is interpreted as the doer of the deed and the deed that was done.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interpretation. That's not true. It may be true to us, but it's not true. Yeah?
Cause and effect, you mean?
Well, there's an assumed cause of everything else. There isn't that. We're not. This is a causeless effect. This is
Mm.
dreaming. There's no one doing it.
Mm.
Yes?
Mm.
When you're in a dream at night, you're not the doer of it. That only comes when you wake up in the morning and there's a claiming of the dreaming, and now you were the one you were the doer of the dreaming. You were the dreamer. There was no, that's not true.
Mm.
If you took like a minute from reading all the books and just looked at your head, you would see its assumptions are fucking crazy, really. Little. Yeah?
Mm.
There's never a need to prove the noun. It's inferred by the claiming of the verbing. The verbing is happening. Yeah? So it can't be denied. And then that can't be denied is given to the noun that's made up. That's not true. Yeah? It's
Mm.
referred to. So we believe if we're denying the noun, we're denying that anything's happening or anything's going on. No. That's the fucking twisted mental logic reaction. Yeah?
Mm.
Do you see it? Something's happening. Yeah? That truism is referred or inferred to that which isn't happening. That's how it gets its shine. It claims the shine of something that's actually happening. Yeah? So the seer is derived by the claiming of the seeing. There is no seer that stands alone. It's derived, it's brought about by the claiming of what's happening, which is seeing. Seeing. Yeah?
Mm.
Not the seer seeing, seeing. Yes? Not the
Mm.
hearer hearing, hearing. Yeah. That's happening. That's going on. There's a claiming of that, yeah, and the the assurance of our own eyes, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, is now given to that which deserves no assurance. This idea of being the doer, the noun of it. Yeah? That's manufactured. Yeah. If you want to live, with everything you are stamped with made in Paul, see, it hasn't worked out. That's why you have such a desire for enlightenment and awakening. You're hoping it's going to bring relief, not from you, but to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't. It's not going to work. Yeah? The relief is from. It's diametrically opposed to. Yeah? We live to trying to get relief for this. Yeah? Our interest and attention is used to enlighten and to promote strategies to get it to be better for this. Yeah, our own self-interest in promoting this is sort of an aspect of the defeat. Yeah, people want to get healthy, yet their obsession with health is part of the illness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't seem to get out of this thumb torture. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great wisdom of no escape. There's no escape from an imaginary activity. If you keep lending a reality to it, you're wanting to get out of it, and your attempts to escape from it reinforcing the in of it. Yeah, you can't get away from these formulations. That's how the mind works. Yeah.
Mm.
You're so hell bent of getting out. Have you ever really questioned, are you in? Yeah.
Mm.
Or the same thing, you're so hell bent of getting into the moment is based on an assurance that you can be out of the moment. I would question that. Yeah. You see it? It's almost ass backwards.
Mm.
That's why negation is the direction. Because there's something that's affirmed all day that doesn't work in a way. So there needs to be a negation of that which is already affirmed instead of giving it something else to affirm, which only reaffirms that. Yeah?
Mm.
That which is being affirmed wants to reaffirm. That doesn't work. If it's not true, it needs to be negated. And it can't negate itself. That'd be more interested in itself. Yeah? So you see it from what you're not. You see what you're not from what you are. And things become clear.
Mm.
They don't become clear, they are clear, but they seemingly become clear at this moment, in this event. Yeah?
Sure.
Yes.
Great.
The body gets to the store. The body doesn't get the freedom. That's not its vehicle. All its maps don't go to freedom. It doesn't go to the land of no thing. It drives around in the yes. But I'm gonna put in a new app. No, the old program's gonna run the new app over. Yeah,
Mm.
I
Mm.
feel. Yeah.
Mm. Wonderful.
If you didn't want to get out of anything and you didn't want to get into anything, you would have no interest in the word enlightenment or shit like that.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul,
What bothers
it's 5 to the top of the hour. So
you?
we've
It's
got
uncomfortable.
Paul, we've 5 minutes to the top of the hour, 5 till 11 in Pacific time. So, and we've got 3 questions. So
Five
we
to
might
10.
let's move up. So Matthias, I think that's how you pronounce it. You've got a question there for Paul?
Yes. Hello, Paul. Hello, David. I know I just raised my hand out of enthusiasm because I can see that I cannot know myself. And that is so liberating. It leaves me, yeah, hallelujah. It
Kumbaya.
leaves me floating around in whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes the book in a different direction. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The chapters of the book sort of deny which it's all about me. It goes in another direction. I want to get it. I must have lost it. What did I do? Just to stir up a fucking agitated pot over and over again. You throw the word in. You want to see the speed up of the agitation in that soup, that mental soup? Throw in the ingredient enlightenment. It's gonna really agitation. Suffering as a concept is used to produce suffering. Isn't that incredible? To me, it blows my mind. The essence of the meaning is the cessation of all suffering, and how it's conceptualized just promotes more suffering. I mean, how many examples do you need? Hopefully one. So unless you like getting beat over the head, which is a way to get there too. So come.
Thanks very much, Matthias. That was lovely. Thank you so much. So, Paul, John Adams from YouTube asks, have you ever encountered Douglas Harding's pointing exercises, and can they be useful?
I did. I liked Douglas Harding's book on having no head. I liked the way the cadence he wrote in. Yeah, I never met him though. But an old Tai Chi master of mine did the exercises with me down in L.A. years and years and years ago. Yes, I had some nice free samples. You'd have to look it up. I think there's a man that still promotes them. They're very simple little exercises that give you a sudden change of perception, which shows you that how you are seeing things can be easily manipulated. Yeah. So obviously it's not you that's seeing that way. There's just a seeing that way. Yes. Yeah, they're
Douglas Harding's pointing exercises. Okay.
Yeah, he wrote on having no head.
Oh yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I would have liked to have met him, but I didn't have the. I passed on it. I didn't go to England, and then he passed away. How could he have done that to me? Yeah.
I know.
You ever see the movies when someone's dying and the person's hanging over them going, "You can't do this to me." Well, I'm sorry. In the throes of dying, sorry, that's a fucking disturbance to your life.
They've got to tell you a really important secret, and then they die just before they go. Yeah.
The obsession is so strong, you know. Wow. But yeah, I like. I don't know if I would keep doing those exercises. Yeah, I would think it's just a nice. It's sort of like jumping off a bridge, a bungee. I don't want to become a nasty bungee jumper. It's just a nice rush to do it once or twice. Yeah. You'll see the sense of fear before you jump off the bridge. That's cool. But I wouldn't keep doing, I don't think I want to jump 100 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, that reinforces what you said earlier about you don't want to keep reading and keep on searching. It's hitting the nail on the head you keep hitting the same nail.
There's reading, and then there's looking for something through reading. Reading is awesome as an activity sometimes. It promotes a quiet where you can really hear stuff in, other than chatter on a box. But everything's meaning is based on what's before, and we are what's before. Yeah? So if we're starting from one point and we're trying to use something to get somewhere, that may not be working well. Yeah? So it's nothing to do with what comes after. It's It's what's before. That's why I don't. Used to tell the old story of the guy who supposedly woke up in Walmart, and he was in the appliance aisle at 10 in the morning on a Saturday, and then a toaster fell off the third shelf and it hit him in the head, and he woke up. And now people are going to Walmart on Saturday morning at 11, appliance, the toaster's going to fall on their heads. It had nothing to do with Walmart and the toaster, yeah? It had to do with what was before and wanted to play it out that way. All right. What's already so is going to look like it happened by me getting hit with a toaster walking through Walmart. You can't make that a rote, you know what I mean? What happened wasn't how you arrived at where you already are. Where you already are may want to picture it in the movie that way. Yes?
Mm.
Yeah. So you can't, what park did that guy walk through when he woke up? I'm going to walk. No, it doesn't work that way.
So they don't have Walmart in the UK. That's a shame. So final question. Eugene's got a few, but and Eugene actually asked what brand of toaster was it. That's funny, Eugene. I was going to say yes, but just a toaster.
Yeah.
Eugene has asked a few questions, but I think there's a good one here. Isn't the 12-step program providing relief, or is that skillful means on a different level than non-duality?
Yes, it's providing relief and it's rooted in a different level. But the aspect of non duality is the influencing on the other level.
Okay.
I don't think you can. I don't think non-duality can be used as a skillful means. A skillful means is usually uh, relating that there's a presence of self, the idea of selfing, and then and that skillful means is useful because of the dynamic. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
non-duality. Uh, I don't see it as it doesn't do well when selfing is trying to use it to gain an advantage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel that's when someone wants to browbeat you into not being a person or something.
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't. I think there's an aspect in the Course in Miracles presented called level confusions, and so to me, let's say someone's in a burning house and it's super hot. Yeah,
Mm.
it's probably not going to work well for them to chant "There is no house" and it's not hot. It'd be much better for them to know where a pail of water is, so they can
Yes.
put the house, the fire out. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, because let's say we use the example of being up the ass of self. Yeah, that's an experience here. There isn't a you that's up the ass of self. Yes, it's
Mm.
not like what you are is up the ass of self. There's up the ass of self. That's implying there's a you. Yeah. So let's say there's an experience here. You're really up the ass of self. You better call a divine proctologist. Yeah.
Mm.
Get pulled out of the ass of self. Yeah. But there wasn't a you that was up the ass, and it wasn't a you that gets pulled out. Yeah. You see?
Mm.
It's just up the ass and pulling out. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
The idea of the self trying to use non-self to its own advantage doesn't usually work well, I find. Yeah.
Mm.
So non-duality is very skillful, but it's not a skillful means. Yeah.
Mm.
When something that you're not tries to use it, it doesn't usually work well. Yeah. That's its value, tell you the truth. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, I think we're time's up. So thanks very much, Paul.
Let's say something, and we were alive with Buddha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Buddha couldn't be used like Buddhism. Yeah.
Okay.
The Buddha wouldn't be used like Buddhism. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. The aliveness of the Buddha, obviously, there wasn't any Buddhism at the time. Yeah.
No.
So now that Buddha is dead, now Buddhism. And the self can use Buddhism quite a lot. Yeah. The idea of being the one doing all the practices.
Mm.
But I would imagine if you were in his presence, that manufactured one would be under an incredible amount of ever present, like the emperor would have no clothes type thing. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So after something's dead and turned into something else, it just becomes a new pair of clothes for the selfing. Yeah. But
Yes.
I don't think you could pull it off if the person was alive. Or seemingly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think Jesus would have been too happy with a lot of what's happening under his title. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He just wants to use everything. That's the beauty of non-duality. It doesn't, it's sort of like the coyote in the desert runs into that desert tortoise and wants to fucking get to the meat, but it can't. And after a minute or two, it loses interest because it realizes there's nothing, it can't get anything from it. That's what non-duality does, really. If you're looking to get something from it, it's going to disappoint you, and that's part of its value. Yeah? It's going
Mm.
to disappoint the system that you're not. It is.
Mm.
Yeah?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
you're not going to get it, and understanding isn't fundamental. It's not necessary because you are it. Yeah?
Mm.
You're not going to experience it. Yeah? So basically, the mental state loses interest in it because there's nothing to get. Yeah? Hallelujah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because you feel it right now. That nothing to get is there's so much there. Yeah. Left to your own devices is like the event horizon. So you can see that they're not yours. Yeah. If something that you meet constantly reinforces the one that met it, how healthy is it for it? Yeah. Non-duality brings into stark contrast that which is hidden in our activities. Yeah. You recognize shit juxtaposed to the message of non-duality. It illuminates, it brings into contrast assumptions that we have just taken for granted for years. Yeah. Suddenly, when you're introduced to the invitation of non-duality, that which used to hide in these other practices gets pointed out. Yeah, it's beautiful. It brings it out so you can see it. Yeah, see it from what you are. I love it. I love that because the constant no thing brings out all the fallacy of the somethings. Yeah, yeah. Like Jesus says, we're in this world of some things. I'm throwing that in there, but we're not of it. Yeah. Yes. We're not of it. So yeah, is that it, bro?
I think that's it. So yeah, I think Julie's just sent me a message. I think there's a fall. I think you've got a fall thing coming up, but I haven't got the details for that. I think we'll put it up
Oh, yeah,
later
that
on.
was a retreat. I think she's setting it up and stuff.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen. Thanks very much. And just to say, so I'll see you obviously in 10 or 15 minutes at your next Zoom meeting, the 12-step recovery one. But thank you very much. And as I say, just to remember, go to Paul's website, zenbitchlap.com, where you'll find all of this, all of his talks, all of his videos, and his books, which are really, really great. So with that, thanks, Paul. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, let me say goodbye to everyone. There's Dimitri. Dimitri, if you go to Zen Bitch Slap, Dimitri's had a lot to do with Zen Bitch Slap. Him and Julie put the whole website together. It's very nice. And there's some really nice music and nice art over there. So go check it out if you like. David, thanks again for always jumping in.
No worries, mate.
Yes. We got Matthias. Nice to see you again. Yes.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Yes. Dimitri, of course. There's Eugene. Nice to see you, Eugene. We got Roman, one of my favorite people from Germany. We got Taj. Nice to see you, Taj. Brahmi. Brahmi, are you in Maryland yet?
No, I leave at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Catch the flight.
Oh, well, have a nice trip, hon.
Thanks,
Yeah?
Paul. I'll see you soon.
The ground for all of us before you leave.
Say again?
Kiss the ground for all of us before you leave.
Oh, I sure will.
All right, thanks. We got Emerson representing Nothing Media. Yes. We have Chris. Nice to see you, Chris, from Lexington, Kentucky. Let's see, anyone else? We got Julie over there. I know her. John S. Stark. Elizabeth. Oh, John has just appeared in the screen. Nice to see you, John. I think, oh, yes. You like that, eh? Divine Proctology. Emerson. Yes. Walk-ins are welcome. Yeah. Come in anytime you like. You got to bring the rubber gloves, though. There you go. Hey, thanks, everyone, for this opportunity. I joke around a lot, but I have a deep honoring of the message. Thanks. See you. Emerson, thanks again for...
Bye, Paul.
Yeah.
We'll chat soon.
All right.
Thanks, Emerson.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks,